As a part of integration management, the project manager has to monitor any change occurred on the project. This is based on all the baselines on the project. The scope baseline, the cost baseline, and the schedule baseline. So when a change occurs, for you as a project manager, how to act, how to apply, how to monitor and control, sometimes how to avoid. In this session, we will discuss the principles of change management and how to apply it in your project in a practical way. Grab your cup of coffee, prepare your white sheets, and let's hit the whiteboard to start the session. Change management is applied for each and every project. As a project manager, you need to take care of your project. You need to take care of your baselines, the scope baselines, the cost baselines, and the time baselines, as well as other project constraints. So I will explain to you now the practical way of how to manage your project and manage, monitor, and control your changes. How can you apply change, when you have to apply the change, and how you apply it in a practical way. The start of the project, you have baselines. We said in previous episodes that we have scope baseline, we have cost baseline, and we have time baseline. Those are the three project constraints, which is cost, time, and scope. So the three project constraints has baseline, and now you are having the baselines. If you don't know about baselines, go back to WPM episodes where I explained all the baseline and how you apply the baselines on your project. Okay, now you as a project manager, you have a contract. In the contract, you have your scope defined, what to do, how much, and when to deliver. You have agreed with your project champion or with your project customer about the deliverables, and you have now your baselines. Once you have your baselines, you start executing your project. And then you have to monitor and control your project to get the deliverables. But during your project execution, there could be some changes occurred due to many factors. The changes could come from your customer side. It could come due to marketing change, marketing new requirements, because your deliverables has been signed earlier and specified earlier, so you need to change your baselines. Now, because the change could come either from customer or could come from the contractor. You could be a customer or you could be a contractor, where you have between you both, you have a signed contract, a legal agreement, which is the contract. And the contract specifies the scope, cost, and time baseline. And now, because a change is required, due to market issues or due to request from the client or due to any changes which is not logical. Let's say you are making a design and the design is not logical to make the deliverables correct as per the contract. So you as a project manager, you are committed to deliver everything as per the scope, but meanwhile you are committed also to deliver the project in a logical way. So if there is any change required, you have to notice, you have to inform your client and tell him, look, the baseline is not realistic and we need to change it. So if the change comes from the customer himself, it will be known as change order. While if it comes from the contractor to the customer, it is called as change request. Okay, so you have a change order and you have a change request. What are the difference between both? This is a change order because the customer, he is the holder of the contract, he is the decision maker, he have the money and he is paying to the contractor. So if the change comes from the customer, it's a change order. If the contractor is requesting this change, means this is a change request. A change order or a change request, when it's appeared, it should be sent officially. Officially means on a form, an official communication method, and should be registered somewhere. So you have the change order or change request. Both should be in a logical form, official, and this official form should have a unique number and subject. So I have like change order number 1 or change request number 1. It's submitted vice versa for each other, and for each project you have a change committee. A change committee is a committee specified in the contract between the customer and the contractor, where they specified who from each party will be a committee who will make the decision. So if I have from the customer project director and let's say general director and project manager, on the other side I have, let's say, also project director, general director and project manager. So that means those 6 people are my change committee. And those committee people make the decision to make the change order or the change request approved or not. Once it's approved, means the change order or the change request is issued, you have to register it in a sheet called change log. The change log is a simple log where you have registered all your change orders and change requests in one sheet with its status. So you mentioned that this sheet, this change order is issued from the customer, the subject is ABC, and the status is, as of today, is, let's say, rejected. So rejected or approved, all should be registered in the change log. Now, what shall we do with the change orders which are approved? Change orders which are rejected, it's rejected, and that's it. Change orders which are approved, you need to check the change order whether it has an effect on the scope, the cost, and the time. Once you have the change order approved, you need to redo your baselines. You need to make another baselines according to the new approved change order. Now, let's go and see the approved change order, how to apply it practically. Once the approved change order has an impact on the scope, on the time, on the schedule, or on other project constraints, it should be amended to the contract. Because change order is an official document, then approved change orders means you are approving to change something in the signed contract. In the meanwhile, you have contract, and let's say it's in revision 0, so you can understand it better. The contract has change order or change request, and some are rejected, some are approved. Approved change orders or change requests, you need to apply it on your contract, but you should not execute it unless it's official in your contract. Means you need to make another revision of your contract where you have the scope here plus this change, and this is called a contract amendment. The contract amendment could have the new scope, which the scope has been deleted, added, changed. The time, which could be reduced, decreased, or increased. The cost, where you could have new deliverables to the project, and then you have new milestones, payment milestones to the project. You could have some cash flow based on your contract milestones, but you now changed, you added some deliverables to the project, and those deliverables has new payment milestones. The new payment milestones will be added to the old milestones. So that means the cash flow of the project is now completely different. Once you changed, you need to execute. Once this contract amendment is signed, you need to execute it, monitor it and control it, and deliver it. Delivery of the contract amendment should have always mentioned the changes with the time schedule. So when you have a time schedule with baseline 1, this is according to the main contract. Now you have baseline 2, where it's according to contract amendment number 1. There could be another amendment which is number 2, number 3, and you can add so many amendments to the contracts according to the changes which are approved. Now, some changes could be approved and could not need amendment. Those changes, like you are changing a key person in the project member, so you are changing the main project manager, or you are changing the main project engineer, or such so, or changes which has no impacts on the project deliverables and agreed time and quality and cost. Those changes could be only agreed, which has no impacts, and then you don't need to make an amendment. It's not necessary, actually, unless it is mentioned in the contract. If it's mentioned in the contract that you have to amend all changes, okay, then you need to amend it. But those changes which has no impacts on the project constraints, if they are not mentioned in the contract, you need only to have those changes approved from your customer. Thank you for watching this episode, and I hope to see you in the next episode. See you.